We are back with another daily reflection on the Daily Vedantic. And this reflection is on a phrase that is often used within Vedanta, and that is end perception with perception. End perception with perception. What is meant is to not cling or hang on to what is perceived, to not indulge after you have that cup of ice cream, that chocolate, that beer, that coffee. Enjoy it. Enjoy that perception. But don't create thought flows after it's perceived for having it again, craving it again. You just had the ice cream and you're thinking, ooh, that was so good. Should I have more? You go from enjoying it to craving more of it. You go from appreciating it to a greedy sense of, how can I accumulate more? End perception with perception. This is never more real to me than when I'm on a hike with my family here in LA. We'll be hiking on the coast somewhere, and I'll see this beautiful view. Maybe it's of the ocean or the mountains and the ocean combined. That's when it really gets you. And right after appreciating it for about 5-6 seconds, you get, over a ledge and then you see it. You have 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. 5 or 6 seconds of enjoying it. And by second 7, I'm already thinking, what would it be like to have a place with this kind of view? That's when we don't end perception with perception. We end it with this greedy desire, this hangover from perception that goes from enjoyment and appreciation to a sense of acquisition and mindness. What I love about Vedanta is it says very plainly, take the middle path and enjoy things that you enjoy. Swami he'll watch 4 episodes of Animal Planet back to back for 2 hours in the afternoon. He loves heated nuts at a certain temperature. He's not governed by these things. He also will take 6 international trips in a year, which even at 38, I'm like, how would his body do that in his 80s over and over and over again? But he has this unwavering ability to just go through, and his preferences not coming to fruition. And yet those preferences are still there. The difference between someone like me and him is, at least we are told by the Upanishads, that someone in a certain state of realization is not governed by their preferences, their likes or dislikes. They might have them, but they're not governed by them. And it's the same for perception. You can have the perception of that ice cream or that beautiful seascape view and not be thrown around like a rag doll by it, where your mind can't stop thinking, I wonder how I can acquire that, how I can kind of just get it for me and make it mine. When we don't end perception with perception, we can't even enjoy the perception itself. Like that beautiful view, I go from perceiving it to then my mind getting hijacked. My perceptions getting hijacked by my mind is a better way of articulating it. Seconds later, with how do I acquire this? How do I make it mine? When in that moment, it's already mine. It is my view. My perception of it not only interrupted, but entirely replaced with these financial calculations, these thoughts of who else lives here. Maybe I should look this up on Zillow and see what a place around here would cost, just to see. End perception with perception. Then the drive home, thinking, when I get home, I'm going to Zillow this. Making that view mine in some greedy, possessive way. There is no end to where that thought flow can go. It can take us from paradise into peril when we destroy something that is beautiful on its own, but we just can't perceive it any longer for what it is. We have to wrestle it into what it could be selfishly for me. End perception with perception. That's also the best way to enjoy that ride home, to perceive that evening with your kids, to perceive this fact that, wow, I can't believe we get to hike up here. It essentially is ours just to be able to do this. And we can't perceive the world around us properly when we're so hung up on previous perceptions, previous experiences, previous thought flows that we've invested in. End that perception of that view the second you look away from that view. Then you can take in that next perception. And you end that perception when the next perception shows up. Not clinging, not holding on to any of these perceptions. And available to clearly perceive what's right in front of us. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.